What is up, sickos? Welcome to MMA Buds. It is August 9th, Tuesday, and by God, we're still digesting what happened over the weekend. So much to get to, but first off, I say, let's get to some MMA news that we will not have any chance to get to, and then we'll move on from there. What's up, BLT? Every sicko jumping in the chat here. And on to the news, just right quick. We got Fight Times over on Twitter. One championship lands more investment, tops $250 million. And so I believe this is the 5th round of investors that we got for one championship. So if you guys were worried about all of those free fights you're getting on the Great One Super app, don't worry at all. Definitely more of that to come. And you know, we'll leave it at that. You could say maybe not a great investment or whatever the hell, but as fans, we get more free fights. So hard to complain about that. And guys, let's jump into this right here. Ben Askren over on Twitter responding to a Conor McGregor post. Oh shit, let's go back. If someone can explain to me how taking an ass whooping for 20 minutes and offering nothing in return is winning the battle, I would love to hear it. Ben Askren, he's asking everyone on Twitter. He needs some clarification. Please help him out, guys. Please help out. From there, though, let's let everyone in the chat got to say. Drunk Savage stopping by. Corey, Hard C, Stewie, motherfucking Griffin, all of you. Ben is a G, says Corey. I'm watching Mitrione fight again. Oh, watching Tate Study, getting ready for Bellator this weekend. How about that? But guys, as the headline reads, as the thumbnail, as you all saw, Dillon Danis has been quoted. We all wanted to know, probably the most sought after information the night of UFC 229 after the brawl was, what did Dillon Danis say to Khabib? What could a man possibly say to get a reaction like that? To get that type of reaction? And I'm going to revert back to a Oregon Duck, LeGarrette Blount, I believe 2008, 2009. He is out here and they're playing Boise State. At the very end of the match, a very close fight, but they are about to lose. LeGarrette Blount is walking out of the stadium here. One of the Boise State players approaches him, and let's just show you what happened.
Here's how it all transpired. Well, that appears to be a little bit of taunting. Sure. But it does not. Based on his quote,
boom, he gets wrecked.
He was going to do the Boise.
I bring this up because, number one, this was post-game or post-fight. So it's kind of related. Number two, rumored that this guy from Boise, who we don't know who the hell it was, but he called LeGarrette Blount the N-word. Called him the N-word. You never do that, dude. You don't do that. You could say, oh, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Or, it's freedom of speech in this country. You could say whatever the hell you want. To an extent, you can do that. You can say whatever the hell you want. But shit happens, man. Shit happens. And so let's go over here to TMZ Sports with the exclusive. Let's play the video. All right, so Khabib's jumping in the crowd, trying to attack Dillon Danis. All types of madness going on here. And what do we figure out? Number one, Khabib definitely shouldn't have done that. Don't jump out of the cage, man. Sit it there and relish this shit. Khabib, you know how bad I wanted to hear what you had to say to Dana White? What you had to say to McGregor post-fight right there in the octagon with everyone watching? Man, I wanted to know. But you're like twice as big on Instagram. The #1 trending thing that night. I don't know what to say. Conor McGregor's teammate Dillon Danis called Khabib a fucking Muslim rat. during the main event of UFC 229. That's what set him off. A ringside witness tells TMZ Sports. So someone sitting ringside lets it be known what kind of detestable shit that fucking Dillon Danis spewed out there. And man, I don't know, was it Firas Zahabi on Twitter? Let's go check this out. Shit, no, I know it was Firas. Firas was quoted saying, you know, Marcelo Garcia or whoever kicked you out of his gym. How detestable of a human being do you have to be for the sweet old man, sweet man, teaching everyone jiu-jitsu to kick you out of your gym? You gotta be out of your goddamn mind, essentially. And man, was it just this? Was it only freaking what Dillon Danis said? No, it's got to do with Conor bringing up religion, Conor bringing up the father, Conor bringing up his country, calling them Dagestani cowards, saying that they are friendly. They're friends out of fear. You're friends out of fear, are ya? Okay. Well, to this, I kind of want to go back to some of the trash talk. Let's go relive some of the trash talk real quick, and then we'll relive some of the fight. And this just goes to show you, this guy, Conor McGregor, is out here selling you guys wolf tickets. You guys are eating them up.
Weasel, a little hard man in groups. I've met many of them. A little weasel, come and shut this man up. A little rat, a little weasel, a little hard man in groups. I've met many of them through my years. A man who grows in numbers, but on his own, and when confronted in a similar situation, cowers away. And that's what you saw with that.
Okay, so a man who's hard in groups, but when you confront him one-on-one, he cowers away. Okay, so let's get some fight footage over here. This is Conor McGregor during the fight. Let's check this out. Here's Conor McGregor in between, I believe, round number 3 or round number 2. Which one was it? I don't know for certain. You guys may have seen this already, though. Let's give this a listen. Did Conor apologize to Khabib?
15 minutes in the books. We head to the championship rounds.
So, what you got there is... What up, London Taylor? Let's go back to Conor. Let's hear his own words.
That little shite on the bus over there. He shit his little rat, a little weasel, a little hard man in groups. I've met many of them through my years. A man who grows in numbers, but on his own, and when confronted in a similar situation, cowers away. And that's what you saw with...
Wait. What? So, he's a man in groups, but he cowers away. All right, so who approached who in New York? Khabib approached Artem, but then that might have been in the heat of the moment. You know, you call the man a cunt on live Russian TV. He kind of has to respond since he's got his country people behind him. But maybe that's not fine. Conor responds, takes 30 people on a plane, flies all the way over to New York, and then retaliates. But one-on-one in the cage, what does Conor say? He says, "It's only business, Khabib. It's only business. I only called you and your dad a coward out of business. I only tried to incite freaking race wars in between Dagestan and Chechens as a matter of business. I'm only talking shit on religion as a matter of business." Okay. It's only business. It's only business.
with that little shite on the bus over there. He shit his jocks after doing something to his own countryman. Proper 12.
Guys, I would say you might want to get rid of or get used to Conor as your late night hawkman. Out here hawking his proper 12 whiskey. Buy it now. If you order it in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you not just this bottle, but a second bottle, equal or less value, completely for free. Just pay separate shipping and handling. Get ready for that, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. And from there, how do you, when you back this man, sure, he's great for business. How do you take him seriously, though, after that? I really want to know. And why do you guys put all your chips in the McGregor bandwagon? I would really love to know. There's so many great athletes out there in the UFC and all of MMA, and you guys go so hard. Look at the media presence. Look at everything. They go just into fucking McGregor. And this is finally the UFC, though. Khabib gains just as many. He almost doubled his fans on Instagram. He's got like 12 million or some shit. They finally bought in, and I think they're going to ride with him. I think they're going to do what they didn't do with Nate, which is jump in, start promoting this guy, know that you got another star. Where they fucked up with Nate, I think they're finally going to learn their lesson this time and jump into the Khabib bandwagon. Nevada State Athletic Commission, who answers to Dana White, unofficially, they've already came out and suspended both Conor and Khabib. That's right. If you guys haven't seen it, they got suspended for 10 days. Both men are suspended for 10 days. At least they're keeping the punishments even, right? You don't do anything to Conor. You don't do anything to Khabib. At least it's a wash. At least it's even. You want to start actually, disciplining your fighters? Go for it. Change the rules right after this. Write down some hard facts and go for it. Don't make a lesson or whatever out of Khabib. You do that, we're gonna freak the fuck out. And if you're not, I don't fucking know, man. On from there, though, what else you guys got in the chat? London Taylor, what do you think of Conor tweeting immediately for a rematch? Because he knew it would generate even more money. If you guys are Conor fans and you want to send him out there again, I question your fandom. I really do. I really question it. Do you want to see the man turn around, build back up his name, even though he doesn't need it? How about let's get a win in that column and then come back? But guys, back to the same punishment talk. Conor McGregor's money gets released the night of the fight, although they're holding on to Khabib's. But then all of that excellent footage from all of the fans that were in attendance, they released it. And apparently maybe Nevada has put a little bit of a stop to that. Said, hold up, maybe we spoke too soon. We're investigating the whole situation with Conor and Khabib. So with that said, I think it's about time we move on. As more facts come out, we will touch back on this. Not official, but he could face a $250,000 fine. Yeah, I would say it would be very, very possible Khabib gets fined 10% of his purse and 10% of his disclosed $2 million $2 million purse would be $200,000. So that rumor of around $250K seems completely plausible. Woodley versus Khabib, says Coco Butt. Guys, what do you want to see Khabib fight yet? Next. Let's lay out the next fights, man. Okay, he gets through Tony, right? If that happens, who do you want? Do you want Woodley? Do you want GSP? Do you want Ben Askren? which one would mean the most to you guys? I would love to hear it. I love all of those matches. We might have 5 fights lined up for Khabib. You give him Tony, and then he moves up to 65. You do 65 with GSP. There's number 2. And then you bring in Ben Askren, number 3, another undefeated versus undefeated guy. Or maybe Askren's before GSP, just to get GSP to actually take that fucking fight. I have no idea. We got so much we could do. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Did Khabib get fined yet? Coco Butt, no, is the answer to that. The commission is going to diligently go through the tape. And are they going to come back? And who knows what they're going to say. Well, pretty much we'll see something. A 10% fine for Khabib and Conor is most likely what we're going to see. Khabib can beat Woodley. Look what Jake Shields did to him, says Deathstroke OG. Ben Askren versus Khabib is probably the best fight that will never happen, says Al Fish. God damn it, Al. Al, I don't want that negativity up in here. Let's try to keep it positive, keep the possibilities open, my friends. But you're spitting fucking truth, which is upsetting. I still bet on Khabib. Okay, what else? Pulse Resurrected, jump in the chat. What up, Pulse? And we should be joined by Kevin from Chicago shortly to recap PFL and then also preview PFL and Bellator. Stay tuned for that coming up. And GSP versus Khabib needs to be booked. Man, has there never been such a truer statement. The man who was the most dominant at 170 versus the man who's been very dominant at lightweight. I can't call him the most dominant because not only does Khabib have an 11-fight win streak at lightweight, but also Tony Ferguson has an 11-fight win streak at lightweight. We honestly need to see that fight. That needs to be the fight that happens next, even though it's the 5th time booking it. 5th time's a charm. What do you guys think? That's what I think. And this is just, it's got to fucking happen. Because with that, that's what can get GSP out of bed. I don't really know what gets GSP out of bed, man. It should be Khabib right now. But does he want the possibility to get smashed? Get his face smashed? You think he'd come back and fight Askren before he'd fight Khabib? But maybe Tony first, then Askren, then GSP. Then GSP's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You want 165s, GSP? Come get it, baby. Aliens get GSP out of bed. Oh, man. Okay. What else we got? I'm gonna have to fucking burn some time while we wait for Kevin from Chicago. Oh shit, let's get some tweets up here. Sean Murphy says he knocked off Volkov's hat at the weigh-ins because it wasn't Reebok. So if all of you are out there wondering, why did fucking the Black Beast do that? Why is he walking off that hat? It was not Reebok. Man, this guy's got fucking something every single time. Oh, and then let's go to this, man. Okay, so yesterday, I did not see it. John Kavanagh and George Lockhart were on the Joe Rogan Experience, JRE MMA Show 44. And we've got this right here. Donnie Rocket, which you can give him a follow at DRocket69 on Twitter. He says, saw this comment on YouTube under JRE Podcast with John Kavanagh. And now usually there's a bunch of shit comments up there, but this guy actually brings up some good points. It's not great always being the hammer in a camp or in a gym. And so what is he talking about? And let's give this a read. This podcast confirmed my worst fears for Conor. He's the gym king. Loves being the hammer, beating up on his training partners. Dislikes new people coming in, even if they are world class, as they have to fit with his vibe. Meaning accepting beta role below Conor. He's now leading the camp rather than being the student. So recipe for disaster all around. Seems like Kavanaugh is too nice of a personality. So if they clash, meaning he wants something and Conor thinks he should do something else, Conor will always get his way. You can't be a head coach like that. You either leading the camp or you're not. None of what Kavanaugh is saying bodes well for Conor's future in a competitive sense. Conor spars every day, usually against his teammates. He loves it because he rarely gets hit. Because, you guessed it, he knows all his partners and is light years above them in ability. So he can just beat them up all day. Great. All that trains is Tyson mentality of steamrolling everyone instead of facing world-class people who will beat you up, making you want to quit, creating an actual fighter. Conor doesn't... what was that saying? Conor doesn't want that, it seems, because, of course, he doesn't. He's the king, and he decided what goes on in the gym. He's the gym bully mentality, laugh out loud, and the heart to go with it. And what a great comment over there. I haven't seen the thing, but excellent breakdown. You know, iron sharpens iron is what everyone loves to say, right? Clock's jumping in here. What up, Clocks? Jerry talked too much about diet last night. He had George Lockhart on there, so I get that. But did anyone bring up Max Holloway's botched weight cut that Lockhart did? I would love to know if they talked about that at all. Go Artem takes every shot, and it doesn't even have an effect. Says PLT. Kavanaugh is way better than Rousey's coach was. People are trying to act like his coach like it was with hers. This is Conor not trying to be hungry anymore. Okay, so it's Conor's fault, not Kavanaugh. Says Al Fish. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Way more blame to go towards Conor here than the coach, which was not true for Rousey. I mean, fucking fans were like begging Rousey to leave, remember? Clocks jumps in. I love Poirier. He's never looked better at 155s as Conor looked at 145. Poirier has been fucking fantastic since moving back to 145. Really, since the move, has only lost to Michael Johnson, who's no longer in the division. Crazy first round KO, and man, I'm sure he would love to get that one back. He would have to give that opportunity to Michael Johnson, though. And so, I don't know. I love fighters, though, that want to get that L back, though. Even if he's ranked below him, which the fucking UFC, the promoter's not going to like that, but whatever. Okay, what else we got? We'll get to some more Twitter while we wait. When I saw the clip of 9-year-old Khabib Nurmagomedov wrestling the bear, all I thought was...
I'm cold as a lion with no hair. If you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear, because that bitch gonna need it. I'm cold as a lion with no hair. If you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear, because that bitch gonna need it.
Oh, man. Dude, and who posted the side-by-side today? We're going to have to get back to that. Khabib showing respect to every opponent that was respectful. And check this out. MMA Fighting made this mashup, or someone made the mashup. Got a lot of fighting clips. And just over and over and over again, Khabib being very respectable. He's basically... Nah, I ain't going to go that far. A great ambassador for the sport for Russia. Russia loves him. Russia had the biggest celebration. 50, 70,000 people packing themselves into a soccer arena over there. Vladimir Putin. Khabib beats Conor on Vladimir Putin's birthday. So late night, Saturday night is early Sunday over in Russia. That's October 7th. Go look it up. Vladimir Putin's birthday. I wonder if that was the best birthday present Putin's ever got. Took out the loudmouth Irishman that the UFC is pushing like crazy. And here's your Russian Khabib taking him out, getting it done. He's not Fedor, says Chunk Savage. Edmund took a teat from Werdum. Punk has no chance. Wait, what? Edmund versus CM Punk, says Coco Butt. Oh, shit. I actually love that. I wanted to see, what's his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme versus CM Punk. That's what I want to see. The striker versus the grappler. The striking actor versus the grappling actor. The UFC's trying to put a grappling actor against real fighters. No. You do the striking actor, Jean-Claude Van Damme, versus the grappling actor, CM Punk. Let me know in the chat if you guys want that. Putin does not behave like a Libra. OG, are you a Libra? You know the signs. I ran a poll though. Does learning that during the fight Dillon Danis called Khabib a fucking Muslim rat change your opinion on the champion's reaction? 70% said no, 30% said yes. So we don't know exactly how they reacted, but knowing that you probably had to say something to get that reaction out of him, most people are not surprised. It did not change their reaction when it came to that. What else we got? No, there's storybook ending. There's that confirmation for you on Vladimir Putin. But guys, Luke Thomas on Submission Radio called this a slip. Might have been a slip, whatever his wording was. He since has ran it back on most of his shows. At least I haven't seen him mention that one more time. He says it's a great punch. He didn't see Khabib outstriking Conor on the feet. Or at least landing the better punch on the feet. Bro, who you got, Clocks wants to know. Fedor or Chael? And to there, we got to jump into this Bellator preview. Fedor Emelianenko, Chael Sonnen, Saturday. Bellator 208. Where's this happen? The Nassau Coliseum in New Jersey. And check out this card. Fedor Emelianenko versus Chael Sonnen. To get into the finals of the heavyweight tournament. Winner of this is going to face Mitrione and Bader. The winner of that. Who do you got? Man, that is tough. Fedor got his another one freaking walkaway KO essentially in his last one. Got a legitimate win since returning, which was amazing to see. Chael Sonnen, though, takes time off. Has to start competing and grappling. Kind of falls in love a little bit with jiu-jitsu. Since then, his laying and praying is getting way better. He doesn't sit there just in full guard or half guard, man. The man's trying to get to side control, trying to lock up Kimuras. Definitely just more dominant positions, scoring more points. Chael by decision, says BLT. I don't know, man. That's such a hard pick. The Russian bot inside of me wants to pick fucking Fedor, and the Oregonian inside of me wants to pick Chael. I just don't even know. I don't even know. Man, I think That's tough. I honestly haven't thought much about it. I think, man, I don't know. Am I getting brainwashed by all the GOAT Fedor talk? Chael is not big at heavyweight, though. In the Sambo champion versus the wrestler with some jiu-jitsu, shit, that's fucking tough, man. This is definitely a tough fight to pick. I'm very much on the fence. I'm gonna fucking stay on the fence and pull a bitch ass move here. That's what I'm gonna do, Coco. Coco, please stay tuned and keep watching. We'll definitely make a pick before the end. He's got the godfather of ground and pound. Chael wins by ground and pound. Oh shit. Very possible, very possible. My Mount Rushmore of MMA. Clocks. Okay. Clocks brings up something great. Who, guys, you got to pick 4 people who are pretty much the GOATs, the gods, the most influential, the 4 guys that make it onto your GOAT list. Who are they? How far back do you go? That's really what I want to know. You got your GSP. I think Fedor is a lock on there as well. I'm liable to put it on like Royce or something, but probably not. Boom. Let's answer this phone call over here from Kevin in Chicago. Kevin in Chicago is joining us. And Kevin, are you joining us just via the phone?
What's going on?
What's up? All right, let me make sure everyone can hear you. It looks like we got you on. We got the audio. Fantastic. Everyone, welcome Kevin in Chicago. You have all heard him call into MMA Junkie Radio, Sirius XM, pretty much all the shows. Luke Thomas before he banned him because he can't take what he dishes out to everybody else. And, of course, the MMA holes. Kevin, man, I kind of jumped beyond the UFC 229 recap, but I would love to hear your thoughts. So why don't you let us know what you thought about that whole, the brawl and the fight?
Let's see. All the fights pretty much went how I expected. Right down to Ferguson and Pettis. I thought Ferguson might walk into a right hand because he's known to get wild and just come straight forward. And Pettis got some straight, clean punches. And he put him down. Ferguson got rocked, but he was able to survive. That's Ferguson's style. He was able to get rocked and kind of just turn into Gumby mode and roll around the floor like a wild man, but he somehow managed to survive, get back up, put the pressure back on Pettis, and Pettis wasn't able to survive the pressure. And as far as Volkov versus Lewis, man, that was a disappointing fight because Lewis, he was just like turning his back. He was holding his eye. I'm not sure what was going on, but he has heart, though. He's able to survive. In the last, 30 seconds, he was just, going for broke. He knew he had nothing to lose. He just started swinging haymakers. Luckily, he was able to catch one on the chin. Volkov throwing 2 step-in knees. I don't know what he was thinking throwing those knees. He should have just been circling away. I think he kind of just panicked and froze because he knew there was only such a little bit of time on the clock. But Lewis, man, I don't know. I'm not too yeah, it was crazy. Yep, good for Lewis, man. He has heart. He's able to survive, but I just think he's gonna get exposed by Curtis Blades. It's gonna be bad. I think, and Curtis Blades, he's just Lewis. He's not that talented. He's not a very talented fighter, but he's just able to stick around, not take too much damage. It was the same thing in Who'd he lose to, or who'd he beat? The Polish guy.
Abdurrahimov? No, that guy was a Russian.
No. I forget who it was. It was like the same thing. It was the first 2 rounds he was getting whooped. In the last 3rd round, he was able to. He kind of didn't do much the first 2 rounds, but the last round he just went for broke. He was able to catch him on the chin. I forget who it was. Marcy Tybura. Tybura, that's who it was.
Oh, okay.
Marcy Tybura. But I think if you get a good wrestler or grappler who knows how to stay on top of it with control, like Curtis Blades or even a Stipe Miocic, who's able to take him down, control him, wear him down, and actually put the pressure on him and not give him any time to recover, then he's not going to be able to recover. He's going to get whooped. Like DC, I think DC would destroy him. But you can never count him out, though, when he's got that much power in his hands. That's the one thing. When you got someone with that much power, you can never be too sure, because anytime he can catch you on the chin and put him out.
Isn't that right, man? Okay, so real quick, let's jump to this news. What do you think of the rumor? So if you guys have been on Twitter, people are posting that Valentina Shevchenko versus Sijara Eubanks. You look that up on Wikipedia, and it says that fight is canceled. And the other rumor out there is they want DC versus Derrick Lewis, the man who just told you he doesn't want a title shot. They want to potentially book that for UFC 230. Kevin, your thoughts?
If I was DC, I'd take that fight in a heartbeat. That's an easy fight for him. That's one of his easier fights, I think, honestly. But for Lewis, if he wants to get it, I don't think he has much to lose, because he's a quick turnaround. I don't think he has much to lose if he just comes back in. Even if he gets grinded out or he loses, then he's still a fan favorite. People still get behind him. But I don't think I'd take the fight if I was Lewis. He ain't got nothing to lose.
Stewie motherfucking Griffin jumping in the chat saying Derrick said it's fake news on his Instagram. So that's good to know. Okay. Yeah, this is just a crazy rumor to throw out there just for 230. Trying to get some... Are they selling wolf tickets just to sell more tickets to that thing, Kevin?
They were trying to do that fight. Akamoto, he said it's in the works, but I think Lewis, he probably turned it down. He knows that's a bad matchup.
I think that's very smart of him, man. I'm not going to harp the man, especially just coming off of a hard-fought win like that. They love to get Derrick Lewis back in there. It's kind of funny that they just now figured out that they got a star on their hands, though. It took them a while, didn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm the only one that's not a fan of Lewis and Mike Perry. I think they both got that same quality, that kind of that clown quality. Like, my balls are hot. Like, I don't know. That's just amateur shit. Like little kid elementary school. And I don't find that funny. Just it reminds me of a clown, like him and Mike Perry. But some people like that shit. It is what it is.
Exactly. And man, things that I would like to highlight on this card. Just let's go back to the bottom real quick. Just give them some props. Tony Martin gets told by Sean Shelby that him and Ryan LaFleur are the boringest fighters in the welterweight division. And Tony Martin comes out round 3, gets a shin kick victory to the head. And right after that, another batch of wrestlers, Gray Maynard versus Nick Lentz. Another shin kick to the head finish. I did not see these two finishes coming. Kevin, what about you, man?
I saw Nick Lentz finishing Gray Maynard. I saw that, but I did not see Tony Martin putting LaFleur away like that. That was surprising. I thought LaFleur was going to be able to handle him pretty easily, but he dropped him with the right hand, almost finished him. And then in the next round, or the third round, I think it was, head kick clean right to the side of the temple. And I think that was a late stoppage, too. LaFleur was pretty rocked. He got hurt bad. But good for Tony Martin and Gray Maynard. They both showed up.
And man, you mentioned late stoppages. Let's go right to it. OSP versus Dominic Reyes. Wasn't this the fight where the dude got finished at the end of the round and they let him continue or some shit? Or am I mixing up fights here in my head, Kevin?
Yeah, Reyes dropped OSP and there was no time left on the clock. I thought he got saved by the bell. I thought that's how it works. But then Herb Dean or someone, the ref was like, "You got to stand up. You got to stand up." I'm not even sure how that works. I have no idea how that works. Like, you got to prove that you can get up. The same thing. Oh, you got to walk to your stool. You got to walk to your stool. I just do not know how that works. But did they call it a stoppage, a knockout, or they call it a 3-round decision? I don't even know.
It says winner by decision is what they called it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was officially not counted as a knockout, which to me is a little crazy. I'm like you, to where I just want to know what the rule is. Okay, sure, you have to get up and go to your corner and sit on your stool. No problem. I get that. Is it within 10 seconds? Is it within 20 seconds? Because look at Anderson Silva versus Bisping. That dude sat down on the cage, wasn't even in his corner for like 45 seconds. They never called that fight off too, so I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would just like no idea. Some more clarity on that. But other fights on the card that you would love to highlight, I'll throw one more at you. I do want to talk about Reyes. Who was it? Who got completely deaded? Was that Holtzman over Patrick?
Yeah, that was the Brazilian. The Brazilian got those elbows were brutal.
Man, Scott Holtzman, winner by KO TKO, round number 3. I got this pick wrong, and there was a few crazy finishes where the guys were just left there laying on the mat, and I believe the other one was Vicente Luque versus Jalen Turner, and
that was another late stoppage.
Right,
Jalen Turner should have been stopped.
My favorite part, Kevin, I'm watching the Fight Buddies and the MMA Holes, and the GBH says Jalen Turner, guaranteed pick, guaranteed victory. Vicente Luque walks out with the round 1 finish. I loved it.
I think that was the proper 12 talk in there.
Well said, Kevin. Well said. All right, well, before
I want to talk about Reyes real quick. Dominic Reyes, because this is how you build the fighter up. This is how you build the fighter up. He came in the UFC with a lot of hype off that highlight knockout. You remember that highlight head kick knockout? Reyes, yeah. I think he got like an LFA. He kicked some dude right in the head while he was taunting him. That's how he got in the UFC. Oh, and then they gave another. Oh, you got to bring that highlight up. It's a brutal highlight. But this is how you build a fighter up with Dominic Reyes. You give him another tough guy. That one dude, who was it? He came into the UFC, another pretty tough guy. And then you give him another pretty tough guy with OSP. This is how you build a fighter up. And then the next fight, I'd like to see him face someone like Corey Anderson or Latifi to see how he defends against takedowns. And you see what he's worth. You see how he is. So when he comes up into the championship fight, he doesn't just fall apart like Darren Till or something. You got to build up a fighter and let him prove his worth. So this is what I love about how the UFC is building up Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, man, how about that? Let's look at his record here. Joaquin Christensen, round 1 KO. Jeremy Kimball, round 1 submission. Jared Cannonier, round 1 KO. And it should be officially OSP, last second of their 3rd round KO. Yeah, that's quite the build-up there. I like it.
Yep.
And in the chat,
so
Deathstroke OG says, "You sound like Eddie Alvarez." That's a pretty good compliment, I would say.
Yes, the Chicago accent. He's from Philly. Eddie's got a Philly accent.
Gotcha. Man, okay, so KO, and I'll put LFA here. I'm going to try to pull up this Dominic Reyes head kick highlight here. Little 8-second clip. Oh, shit. Okay, here it is. Kaboom! Oh, he was taunting him. Hold on, let me try and give Kevin in Chicago my screen real quick so he can watch this as well.
1989, I opened up this school here in Torrance, California.
All right, Kevin, if you could see this, here's the replay of that finish. Boom, he gave him the old head shake. You're not going to hurt me. Took a shin to the dome. Nicely done. Thank you for that highlight, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm high on this Reyes kid. He's pretty tough. I think he's a future title contender for sure.
Definitely, and he's definitely going to get more play, getting a nice freaking showing here on a big old pay-per-view card. All right, well, from that, I think we can call that UFC. Or I guess, Kevin, what did you think of Khabib versus Conor, just the fight? Break down the fight for me.
That's pretty much how I saw it going. The only thing I was surprised with was Conor getting dropped. I did not see Khabib dropping Conor. Conor just kind of walking straight into him with his hands down. And Khabib pretty quick caught him right on the chin. And what did Luke Thomas say? He said, oh, it was a slip or something? It was not a slip. He caught him clean on the chin, rocked him, and luckily Conor, he was able to recover real fast, get back to his feet. But no, he stung Conor real quick.
Oh yeah, big time. And dude, I don't know what it was. I really had this feeling. So the first fight, Anderson versus Chael, the striker was able to pull it off with his submission abilities, but it was very much striking versus grappling going into that. And I really harpened back to that fight over and over and over again when I thought about this one. And so when Khabib dropped him, I honestly wasn't very surprised. I was like, I knew it. It was just like fucking Chael Anderson. Chael dropped Anderson in one of them rounds. It was nuts. And everyone freaked out just as much when Chael did it as right now when Khabib does it. So I honestly don't know how surprised these people can keep being over and over and over again. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, that is right. Remember that. Chael dropped Anderson Silva with the straight left, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Khabib, it's not the most pretty striking. It's not the most crisp and clean striking, but he's pretty quick and he knows how to get inside and it works for him. So people been saying, oh, his striking, Joe Rogan said, his striking is so amateur, it's so amateur. Well, maybe it's amateur in a boxing sense or like kickboxing, but for MMA, it works pretty good. So can't take anything away from him there.
Right, man. The commentary was so back and forth, just bias this way, bias that way. It's nuts. All right, one thing that I couldn't fucking stand, Kevin, was people bringing up the fact or just the assumption, the idea of stripping Khabib. These Conor fans were so butthurt that they just saw their man get demolished. They don't even want Khabib holding the belt. And that, and the fact that they're bringing up his visa too. The shit that Conor's done, the felony assault that he fucking did, and we're gonna ask about taking his visa on this? I thought that was unfucking acceptable, and so I'm gonna call you guys out by name. Michael Bisping, you have since ran it back a little bit, but when you announce something, it's on the front page of the fucking news, it's on the Fox Sports 1 post-fight show, that's going to get a way more play than your podcast, brother. Sorry. And then Jordan Breen and Sean O'Connell mentioned it on the SiriusXM post-fight. I can't remember anyone by name who wants to strip him or mentioned it, but I was not okay with that. I think even on the broadcast, Joe or someone brought that up. What the fuck did you think of that, Kevin?
You know how they got Trump derangement syndrome? They got Khabib derangement syndrome. Their hero, Conor McGregor, got destroyed, just like Hillary Clinton got destroyed. I mean, it's pretty much what it comes down to. They're absolutely butthurt.
Yes.
They're not. That's pretty much what it comes down to. They're like their hero, Conor McGregor, this false hero they got. Dana White, he built him up. They gave him favorable matchups. He was never as good as people made it out to be. He got favorable matchups, like Dennis Seaver and Diego Brandao, people like that. And Jose Aldo, he's a war-torn fighter. He's been through so many wars. His chin just is not what it was in his beginning of his career. So that's a good matchup for him. And then Eddie Alvarez, another war-torn fighter, has been in so many wars and gets dropped all the time. That's another favorable matchup that if Conor connects on someone like Eddie, it's not surprising that's able to put him down. So I mean, Conor just wasn't as good as people made it out to be. Dana White is able to create these superstars. Remember what he said? Oh, I got plans for Darren Till. I got plans for Darren Till. This is how Dana does. He creates these stars out of nowhere. But they're really not as good as Dana says. He did the same thing with Ronda Rousey. And Joe Rogan saying, oh, she could beat half the bantamweights. She could beat half the male bantamweights. It's absolute delusion.
I totally agree. The Khabib derangement syndrome. You guys heard it here first by Kevin from Chicago. Trademark that shit. Sign it in the bank. And man, I thought, let's talk about Conor's record, man. Nate Diaz put it so well. He's like, you beat up a bunch of midgets. You think you're all that. Now welcome to 155s, Conor. Welcome up to your natural weight class. And since moving from 145 up, Conor McGregor's record is 2-3. The man that they tell you is the god, the pound for pound. 2-3, arguably 1-4. I would maybe make that argument. Not a lot of people would, but whatever. Yeah, Kevin, how do they respond to that? Where no, Conor's still the greatest. They want to go out there and give Khabib props. I've seen this. People, okay, yeah, Khabib's great. He ran through him. He's fucking dominant. But Conor's still world class. Conor's still world class. I hear that. His record does not prove it. 2-3, Kevin. Am I wrong here, man?
What did they have Conor ranked at? I'm pretty sure they had him in the top, in the pound for pound, like the top 3 pound for pound too.
Oh yeah, I've got sure. UFC right here. So I think they already updated their welterweight rankings. So let's see if they've got pound for pound updated. Pound for pound, Khabib jumped 6 spots to number 2. Conor McGregor dropped 6 spots to number 8. So those two swap positions, essentially, is what happened.
They had him at the number 2 pound for pound fighter in the UFC.
Above TJ Dillashaw, bro. Above TJ Dillashaw.
That's absurd. And he lost to Nate Diaz too. I mean, his biggest win was Eddie Alvarez and Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo was just a war-torn fighter. He's get dropped. Remember, Mendez was piecing him up. Mendez was piecing up Jose Aldo in his fight. He had 2 wars with Mendez. I mean, I don't understand. Conor McGregor, it's all hype. It's just money. That's what it comes down to. UFC knows Conor McGregor brings in a lot of money, so they hype him up. They rank him high. But it's time for the real fighters to come in. Khabib, he's 27-0. He's proven. And he's got that wrestling base. And when you got that wrestling base, that matters a lot. Conor McGregor, Chael Sonnen said it best. Khabib, in his hometown in Dagestan, they got 8 Olympic gold medals. Conor McGregor comes from a country that doesn't even contest in the Olympics in wrestling. That says it all. Pretty much says it all.
Right? People are asking, if Conor trained with high-level wrestlers for 2 years, could he do enough to compete with Khabib? No. No is the answer. It's very, very simple, guys. It's very simple. All right. Well, Kevin, from there, let's jump into PFL. I mean, I wish people would just pull their heads out for a little bit and quit being so goddamn brainwashed. Think for yourself. Think critically about everything. That would be my recommendation to everybody. But let's go to it, man. I gotta mention real quick, Jeremy Kennedy apparently pulled from this card. Supposed to fight Carvalho, and Marcus Carvalho pulled from the card for maybe a contract dispute. That was some crazy shit. But at the very bottom, Mo Day Reese taking out Mike Kyle. Mo Day Reese is the man who put Leroy Johnson into the hospital with that crazy knee KO, and he gets another first round finish right here. He might be an alternate into this tournament here, but the first match of the tournament, Lance Palmer decisions Max Koga. What did you think of these fights, Kevin?
I didn't see the Mo Day Reese or Palmer first fight, but Mo Day Reese seems like I feel like he would win the tournament, honestly. I feel like if he was in the tournament facing Copeland or that other guy, the Brazilian, I feel like he might win the tournament. How is that dude doing, Leroy? Is he got like his spine? I think he got like a fracture in his spine or something. Pretty sure.
I haven't gave an update since the first update that we got, where his woman said that I think he's up walking around and stuff. He's showing incredible heart and recovery.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. But Lance Palmer versus Koga. I didn't see the fight, but I just saw a couple highlights. Looked like he used his wrestling to control the fight. So that was a good win. In this tournament, that's all you got to do. You just got to win the rounds and advance. So there's $1 million on the line. You can't be picky. You just got to go out there and win the fight at all means necessary.
I know, man. One thing I wasn't a fan of is the rule set made it so interesting and so freaking exciting during the regular season. But now that we're in the playoffs, it's exactly like you say. You have to advance. You have to advance toward that $1 million no matter what happens, whether it's via wrestling, lay and pray, whatever. So Jared Rosholt avenges a loss to Kelvin Tiller. He advances. Lance Palmer advanced. Andre Harrison was able to outstrike Becerra, which was crazy. He did a bunch of striking in his first match where Lance Palmer chose to wrestle. And then Felipe Lins gets a quick guillotine choke in less than a minute to advance. That was quick stuff there. Almeida advances, and Nicholson advances over May. From there, though... Wait, what the hell? Oh, they got fights listed as draws, but that can't happen. Someone had to advance in the tournament. Moving on to basically the semis. Lance Palmer takes out Andre Harrison. Andre Harrison was 20-0 going into this fight. He got out grappled by Lance Palmer, man. Loses his undefeatedness, and he took that L. Lance Palmer advances. What'd you think of that?
I'm surprised how good he looked in the second fight, considering the first fight he did have nothing for Harrison. But it sounded like Lance Palmer said he broke his hand in the first fight. So I guess that matters when you're a grappler and you can't use your hand to clinch and stuff like that. I guess that mattered a lot, because in the second fight he was able to really he got the backpack in the second round, pretty much rode his back the entire second round. In the third round, he another takedown, got on top, and pretty much dominated the whole fight. So Lance Palmer going back to what made him a big hype. A lot of hype coming up with Lance Palmer, so congrats to Lance Palmer. I've been following him for a while, his wrestling career in high school and college, so I know how good he is. He's got to live up to that potential, though.
Very
and I think he's gonna
stuff there. And how about his
I think
dad
he's
in
gonna
attendance?
smash Siler.
His dad's his #1 fan.
Yeah, Wayne the Pain. He's a wild man.
Wayne the Pain. That's funny. But then Felipe Lins is able to KO Jared Rosholt in the second round of this. And this Brazilian moves on. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter pretty happy about this. They didn't want to see that wrestling Jared Rosholt move on into the tournament, just in terms of excitement and MMA value and stuff. What'd you think of that one?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Jared Rosholt gassing out. I could tell by the end of the first round he had no energy. He was gassed already. He's a big guy, got a lot of extra weight on him, so I could see him. I saw him gassing out. In the second round, he was coming out all stiff and slow. I knew it was the beginning of the end there. So we got Felipe Lins versus Copeland.
Josh Copeland, who was able to take out Alex Nicholson in the main event over there. And Josh the Cuddly Bear Copeland, he's got the tournament mentality, man. He's just coming out there to take your soul, take you out. He was able to do it versus Alex Nicholson there. That was some exciting shit.
That was a brutal knockout. had Nicholson knockout. He ran right into that right hand. And yeah, Copeland just coming. He's prepared. He's coming forward. He's swinging. He's going all out. He wants that $1 million. So I'm pulling for Copeland. Let's see if he can beat the Brazilian. It's not for another 2 months, though, right?
Yeah, the mentality I saw from him, it's hard to pick against him, man. I'll tell you what. Coco Butt says, is MMA Buds on every day? A great question. We are on during the events. Sundays for recaps. Tuesdays, probably Thursday and Friday. Something like that. Thursday and Friday might switch back and forth, though, just so you know. And then the disappointment of the night, obviously, was Steven Siler versus Alexandre de Almeida. And because of an illegal up kick, Steven Siler saw his path into the finals, and he fucking took it. It's hard to hate on a guy for doing that, man. It really is, especially with the illegal moves, man. When do fucking penalties actually mean something? In this fight, it actually does. Steven Siler moves on into the tournament. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, Siler played it off. He did the smart thing. It was an illegal move, so he got $1 million. He got a family to take care of. So I don't blame him for he got kicked in the face and he played it off like he was rocked. And oh my gosh, I'm so hurt. I think he could have continued, but he wants to advance and get a chance at that $1 million. So I don't blame him. And I see he's got 32 and 17. I didn't know he's got that many fights. That's pretty crazy.
Right? Getting all that experience in all the promotions, man. So how about that? Okay, so from there, let's go on to PFL 9. This is going to Long Beach, California. So from the East Coast, we went to Louisiana for a stop. Now we're headed to LA. And what do we got here? We got the 205ers versus the 155ers on this card, on this event here. And my God, there's going to be some epic matchups here. I don't even know where to start. Kevin, what are you excited to see for PFL come Thursday? Or when is this card? Saturday night?
Saturday night, yep.
Yeah, okay, so not Thursday like we're normally used to. This is going to be Saturday night. You're going to have to be rocking 2 screens. We're going to have Bellator on. We're going to have PFL on. And from the bottom, man, Brandon Halsley versus Hani Marks. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
I really don't know. I'm not too familiar with Ronnie Marks. I haven't followed him. He was in the UFC, wasn't he? Pretty sure he was a UFC.
I'm not very familiar with him either. Trying to remember, Brandon Halsley had one of the fight of the seasons on the beginning part. Who was that against? He's fought for M1 and he's fought in the UFC. He lost to Yoel Romero and Thiago Santos before he got cut. So not some bad guys to lose to.
Yeah, no shame losing to them. So, Halsey, his last fight, he got head kicked by Vinny Magalhaes. So if you're getting head kicked, knocked out by a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, that can't be too good. So I'm probably going to go with Marquez for this one.
All right, and I'll tell you what. Why don't you just let me know anything you'd like to highlight off this PFL card?
Will Brooks versus Rashid Magomedov. I think that's probably the most competitive fight, most talented fighters on the card, probably.
That's a hell of a matchup. Both competitors with over 20 wins. Brooks 20-4, previous Bellator champ. His stint in the UFC was not the greatest. Fought some overweight guys and some other shit came at him. But then he saw an opportunity for $1 million, ran for it. And Rashid Magomedov is 21-2. So definitely a great matchup there, man. I'm excited for all of this shit, to be honest. Nathan Schulte, this Brazilian, he's been pulling off some pretty epic finishes throughout this tournament. And my God, who was it?
Good card. A good fight.
Bazagit Ayateov, the dude who went like however long without losing. His very first fight back, though, after a long layoff, he fights Sean O'Connell. Before that, he loses his first one, comes back and gets a victory, though, works his way into the tournament. He looks way more in shape. So if you guys are down on him just because of his first loss, I say watch out, because he might be coming with something. And then Vinny Magalhaes is going to get on the main card, though, because of his performances. He faces Raheem Cleveland, who I remember got robbed of a point because he finished a fight at the end of the second round where the fighter couldn't continue.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Raheem Cleveland either. But I want to go back to this Will Brooks versus Magomedov. I feel like I want to break this fight down. I know Will Brooks is going to be looking for the takedown. He's going to be shooting in, desperately trying to get that takedown. But he has improved stand-up. He's got a nice jab. I think Rashid Magomedov is the more polished striker. How do you see that fight going?
Whew, man. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I think I may ride with the Russian here, but there's really no analysis or critical thought behind that. More of just what I've seen out of Will recently.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably go with the Russian too.
But guys,
in Islam, what's his name? Mamedov? I don't know who that is either. Versus Thiago Tavares.
Let's check.
Chris Wade, Robert Watley. Hey, I'm not too familiar with some of these fighters.
He's a Dagestani who I guess is training out of New Jersey. So he's in the same camp as, what the fuck's his name? Zabit. He's trained with Zabit with Mark Henry and them, and Frankie Edgar is what it sounds like. And what's he been up to? He came over from Fight Nights, went to World Series of Fighting, got a bunch of victories. Beat Nathan Schulte right before this tournament started. Got Yuki Kawana. That fight was pretty easily. And now he's taking on Thiago Tavares. And what did Thiago Tavares happen last? He got a split decision and an accident loss over a groin strike. Is this the guy who lost via dick kick?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
What the fuck?
That was bullshit. You kicked him right in the dick, and they didn't even care. He said, oh, you can't continue, then you lose. I'll go with the Russian for this one. First, Thiago Tavares. I think the Dagestani's probably going to win that one. And Chris Wade versus Robert Watley. That's another good
Wade
fight.
and Watley. Break this down for us, Kevin.
Chris Wade has a lot of potential. I know he's a state champion, and I think in New York or New Jersey, somewhere over there in the East Coast. So he's pretty good. He ran into some tough competition. He faced Islam Makhachev, and so he's pretty good. I'd probably go with Chris Wade here.
That's not a bad pick. If you look at Robert Watley, you will figure out that he was the man who won via dick kick versus Thiago Tavares and then lost to Will Brooks, but that still is enough to get him into the tournament. So the dude never won a fight and is in the tournament. I think Chris Wade is an excellent pick here.
Dick kick and a loss, huh? Okay.
You got Nathan Schulte versus Johnny Case. You got the Brazilian or you got the American here?
I think Schulte is going to win it. He looked he looked pretty good facing, who'd he face? He choked out somebody. Jason Hyde, that's right. He beat Jason Hyde, who's not bad. He's pretty tough, so I'm going to go with the Brazilian here.
Yeah, it looks like lost via armbar to Islam Magomedov. Beat Chris Wade via unanimous decision, and then beat Jason Hyde via round 1 rear naked choke. And Nathan Schulte taking on Johnny Case.
Yeah, that's right. Brian Foster was supposed to be in this tournament. I'm not sure what happened with that.
Didn't man got injured or something? Wasn't he supposed to, or he took on fucking John Fitch or Jake Shields or someone, I feel like.
Yeah, he had a brutal knockout before the tournament, and then they just said he's not in the tournament anymore. I'm not sure what happened. He might have got injured.
Oh man, but Sordi versus Ataev is the co-main event, and Sordi made, I believe, my KOs of the week or some shit. He got onto that, so look out for that Argentinian versus Ataev. Probably going to try and wrestle him in that fight. But man, I would love to give Bellator a little bit of a preview too. Anything else you want to highlight on PFL?
That Dan Spone versus O'Connell is going to be fireworks. I know that for sure. They're going to be coming out swinging, looking for the knockout. That'll probably be the best fight of the night, honestly.
Does Dan Spoon got any good head movement or footwork?
Dan Spahn? I think that's Spahn.
Spahn,
yeah, Dan
sorry.
Spahn. He's pretty decent. He looks good. He's got knockout power. But he likes to stand and bang. So I definitely see this one. This won't be boring for sure.
Nice. Yeah, O'Connell definitely loves to put on some entertaining matches. Look forward to that shit. And fuck it. From there, we're going to move on over to Bellator 208. So Friday night is Bellator. Saturday night is Bellator. That's right. You heard me correctly. Some crazy shit going on over here. And I like it because at least we're just going to get the tournament that much sooner. And Mitrione versus Bader is going to kick off. Who's going to get into the finals on Friday? And we're live in Oklahoma. Kevin, break this down for us.
You got Bader versus Mitrione. This is definitely Bader's fight to lose. You just got to use his wrestling, because if he stands and trades with Mitrione, it could be a short night. But if he goes to do his wrestling, Mitrione is absolutely terrible on the ground. So, is Bader go back to what got him there, take him down, wear Mitrione out, and then I see him get a TKO stoppage ground and pound.
Are you telling me that Ryan Bader's not going to get some flying knee kick KO like he did over Ilir Latifi?
No, Mitrione's too tall for that.
Mitrione's too tall for it. I like that pick. Ryan Bader looks fucking massive everywhere I've seen him.
He's looked good so far.
Good guy. But
I'd like to see Ryan Bader versus DC, actually. I don't think that's as one-sided matchup as people like to see. I think that might be competitive. I think that's a good fight, actually. Bader versus DC at 205.
Man, I thought Bader put out one of the best call-outs on DC I've seen.
And you saw DC, the way he responded. It's almost like he knows he's not going to be able to just take Bader down and grind him out, because Bader's a really good wrestler. And Bader's got real heavy hands, so that's not an easy fight for DC. And the way he responded, you could tell he was kind of emotional at that press conference, right? Like, Bader, you're the easiest fight. Bader, you're the easiest fight. I think deep down he knows that's not an easy fight. So, but man, they got rid of Bader and Gegard Mousasi. I don't know what UFC was thinking there.
They wanted 205 to just become the ultimate wasteland, I guess, because that's where it's at. In Mousasi, such great upside there with him being able to compete in multiple divisions and legitimately being one of the best pound-for-pound fighters out there. And gets no props for it. It's crazy.
Yeah, did you hear Mousasi said he's going to retire soon or something like that? He said he wants to retire soon. He's worried about brain damage. He's been in a lot of fights, too. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. So he's like, he wants to retire pretty soon. He doesn't want to take too much brain damage. But,
shit.
I don't blame him.
How about that? You know, you can't blame him, really. That's intense. All right, but down from that, Roy Nelson gets signed by Bellator, yet to compete over there. This dude is fucking popular, dude. He was on the season with Kimbo Slice. He's got an image or a gimmick that a lot of people love, even though people are going to call him the fat KFC guy or whatever the fuck. But that's his gimmick, dude, and it works. Go look him up. One of the most popular heavyweights that the UFC had. Well, Bellator picked him up. He was supposed to fight Mirko Cro Cop. Mirko got injured with his knee. From that, though, they take out Mirko and they give him another old legend, Sergey Karatanov, man. So what is this? 2 strikers going to go at it? Is Roy going to wrestle here? What do you see, Kevin?
I think he's better off taking him down and taking down Sergey Karatanov because Roy can wrestle. It showed that versus Derrick Lewis. I think he actually got robbed versus Derrick Lewis. He took Derrick Lewis down and controlled him for 2 rounds. I thought he got robbed in that fight. And then he took down this recent fight, Javi Ayala. He took him down, hit some nice takedowns. So this is Roy Nelson's fight to lose. He's got to take down Sergey Karatanov and make it a boring fight. But if he wants to stand there and bang, he can get knocked out because Sergey Karatanov got some real heavy hands. Definitely. But I'll go with Roy Nelson here.
Man, great breakdown there. Roy should try and be smart and get it done with the wrestling. If he does, I see him walking away with a victory. Maybe one that gets booed at, but still with a victory. And I believe this is the one of the official fill-in fights. Because someone else came out and said they wanted to fill in. But, oh yeah, it was Rampage Jackson. He said he wanted to be in that tournament as a fill-in. He's like, well, Roy's the fill-in. He had to let it be known. I think that's in the contract or some shit. So definitely stay tuned for that shit. Going down, though, Kimbo Slice Jr., Kevin Ferguson Jr. is taking on Corey Browning. How do you break this one down, Kevin?
I've never even seen Corey Browning fight. I'm not too familiar with him. Kevin Ferguson, he's got heavy hands like his dad, though, so I'll probably go with Kevin Ferguson by stoppage, TKO.
Fucking A, yeah, I think he is in the championship corner, the red corner. They're going to be setting him up for victory. Bellator is usually very good at that, setting their guys up to get some good wins on the main stage as they're building them up. And from there, I don't know much more that we should highlight on. Lorenz Larkin, I think he's still like an alternate into the welterweight tournament. He's got a late replacement and a guy I don't know about, so maybe he's going to get a victory there. But then Carrington Banks versus Mandel Nello. Never heard of these guys, but 2 prospects at 155. So pretty top-heavy card here by Bellator is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, this seems to be the story with Bellator. They'll have some big-name fighters at the top, and then at the bottom, just fighters you have absolutely no idea who they are. I'm not sure who any of these fighters are, honestly.
For real. But they usually give us some entertaining fights, so if you want to, tune in for the Bellator.com/live prelims. Watch them on DAZN now, too, which is amazing. And, yep, I'm pretty stoked with DAZN. I get to watch it all just one click away. And Mystic Moss jumped into the chat, and he would love for us to discuss something that I have not touched on yet, which we definitely need to. And that was after Saturday night, you know our man, Colby Covington, has got to respond to all of these stars that are even close to him in weight. If your name's GSP, fucking Askren, Khabib, Connor, anything like that, Colby's going to talk some shit at your ass. And so let's go to Twitter here and check out this tweet. And what's he say? He says, all you sheep are on the kebab train tonight, but if you knew what they did to sheep where he's from, you wouldn't get so close. And where did the other one go? Where he called him a sheep fucker.
Oh, that's up to the top.
I wonder if he was responding to somebody. It might have been a reply. Hold on.
Yeah, it called Khabib a shit fucker. I saw that.
I think he deleted it. Okay, if you guys can find that, let me know. I know I retweeted it, but that was so long ago.
It's right above that crying truck. I think it's right above that crying. Oh no, I might have deleted it.
Okay, so with that...
That's just Colby talking shit as usual. So that's funny. I guess that's I don't know why he wouldn't pick Khabib. He's a wrestler himself. He knew Conor can't wrestle worth the shit. I don't know why he wouldn't pick Khabib, but
I think he's more setting up his next fight and you know, poking the flames is what he's out here doing.
He's playing 4D chess as usual. He's always a step ahead.
How about that shit? Well, Kevin,
so what
from
there,
man, what topics do you got? What do you want to touch on?
What did Mystic Mas say in the chat?
He jumped in and wanted to know what we thought about Colby's Sheep comments. And said hello to Justice. I think that's about it, though.
So let's talk about this this Khabib derangement syndrome. All the media, all the fans are talking about, oh, Khabib needs to be stripped. How could he do such a thing? They're just Conor's done so much worse, and all Khabib did was jump out of the cage and attack Dillon Danis, the biggest fucking Conor McGregor dick rider of all time. All he does is shine McGregor's shoes. Dillon Danis deserves to be attacked like that. So the only person who kind of pulled the shady shit was that dude who jumped over the cage and attacked McGregor from the behind. That was the only bitch move, I thought. He's the only one who should be reprimanded, I think.
Man, I would kind of agree. Actually, a lot agree. And I harken back to the great Nick Diaz, who said, where I come from, people like that get slapped. And where fucking Khabib comes from, you want to talk to a man like that. That's what's going to happen. He's going to come over and slap you. He might even invite you to a duel to the death or a grappling match to the death. I'm not sure. I would love to see some shit like that. But man, they just, as far as that goes, man, you can't fuck with these Russians like that. You totally can. It's if you're going by the law, by the books, you can do it all you want. It is not recommended at all for your safety, for everyone's safety.
I think there's a little bit of that Muslim factor. The fact that Khabib's Muslim, that people are kind of like, they're like really attacking him, hating on him because he's Muslim, but I don't know what. I think that has something to do with it, honestly. But Khabib's a good dude, man. He's real respectful. He doesn't talk trash. He goes in there, does his job, sticks to what he's good at, his wrestling, his ground and pound. Conor, on the other hand, likes to talk a lot of shit, and I don't know. I'm a Khabib fan before Conor, honestly. Just because, so shout out to Khabib for shutting up all the haters. And all the whiners they're talking about, oh, he needs to be stripped, and oh, he's never going to be in the UFC again. Strip him of his belt. That's bullshit. He'll be back to face Ferguson next year.
Hell yes,
I think that's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a much better fight than Conor versus Khabib.
Oh yeah.
I still see Khabib taking him down and grinding him out. Because if you watch that Danny Castillo versus Tony Ferguson, Danny Castillo was able to control Ferguson on the ground for a long time. So I think Khabib will be able to take him down and control him. What do you think?
Fuck. I can't wait for it, dude. I want to see Tony on his back, Khabib on top, Tony throwing elbows, Khabib trying to lock up a wrist and fucking work his way up. That seems amazing to me. You could start that fight on the bottom, and I would fucking love it, man. That's like, Kevin, man. Let's jump back to Conor and shit real quick, though, man, because you're talking about this and it's making a lot more sense to me. Imagine. I think, honestly, only conservatives can really understand how Khabib, the Russians, and the Muslims really feel about this. I think they're the only ones who can even kind of relate, even in the slightest. So when you say Khabib derangement syndrome, that is such a good fucking word or way to put it, man, because all we see is the media and this left-leaning bias. We see the media and this Conor-leaning bias, and we can't stand it, dude. We can't stand it. It's completely out of fucking control. And so when Khabib goes a little nuts and shit, we give him a little bit of leeway. And even post this, man, so many headlines are pro Conor and whatever the fuck. Give me the 27-0 headline, Khabib, the greatest light heavyweight we've ever known, question mark, and at the very bottom mention, you know, oh, he's 11-0 at lightweight and Tony's 11-0 at lightweight. We can't wait for this matchup, dude. That's the fucking story. It's not Conor won round fucking 3, Khabib lost the first round of his life. Like, when that's your angle and that's your story, I'm really concerned, dude. I don't know really how to put it, Kevin.
They love it. They love that Khabib did that. So now they don't have to talk about the ass whooping Conor just received, and now they can focus the attention on, oh my goodness, I'm a pearl clutcher all of a sudden. Khabib is such a meanie. They're getting all on their high horse and acting like whiny little bitches. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
They don't want to talk about the fact that Conor just got his ass whooped and dropped. He's a supposed best striker in the UFC and best striker of all time, and he got dropped by a wrestler. Then he got taken down and destroyed and choked out by a neck crank. Not even he didn't even have the choke underneath his chin. He just pretty much gave up. And they don't want to talk about that. They want to focus on all the other bullshit besides the fight. And yeah, I know what you mean. The media, all the media, Joe Rogan, John Anik, and even Dominic Cruz. Did you hear him during the fight? He said, "Oh, Khabib, he's gassing himself out. He's letting Khabib gas himself out."
Yeah, in round 2, when he's beating the piss out of Conor on the ground, which, I mean, yeah, you don't talk about how a guy is tiring himself as he's pounding the other guy's face. That's a weird angle to take. But he is a little right, because Khabib was slightly tired, slightly, he fucking threw some hands that round. But the next round, who was it? What's his name said, John Anik says, this is the most tired I've ever seen Khabib. This is the most exhausted I've ever seen him. And then Dominic Cruz jumps in and has to put him straight a little bit. He's like, hold up, dude. He's probably pumped up with a bunch of blood right now, and he's just feeling that. I don't think he's the most exhausted we've ever seen. So at one point, Dominic's way over there being super biased, and at the other point, he's not. But yeah, you're totally right there, Kevin.
Even Joe Rogan, after the fight, he said, oh, this whole night is ruined. It's tarred. This whole night is tarred. Khabib ruined his moment. Or something like that. All the fans were talking about that. Like, the whole night is ruined. The night wasn't ruined. That actually caught more eyes on the UFC. More people actually looked into it. Brought more eyes to the UFC. The night wasn't ruined. Khabib went in there and did what he had to do and dominated the fight. And no one wants to talk about that. They want to focus on all the other bullshit.
F&A, man. Yep, and it didn't have a storybook ending. I could give you that. This wasn't storybook, but if you're Endeavor and you're looking at the clicks, you're looking at the mentions, for the first time maybe ever, I think Conor McGregor's opponent was the one that was trending most. I don't know if the first time Nate Diaz won, if he was the most trending, but Khabib was trending way above Conor, and he got way more followers, way more hype. I loved it, Kevin.
Yeah, me too. It showed the wrestling. I mean, this goes back to a Socrates quote back in 370 BC. And a wrestler cannot be the equal. An outstanding runner cannot be the equal of an average wrestler. Since the beginning of the UFC, wrestlers has dominated MMA, and he goes back to Darren Till versus Tyron Woodley. He goes back to Stipe Miocic versus Cormier. Cormier was the better wrestler, the Olympian. It goes back to Colby Covington versus RDA. Colby Covington was the better wrestler. You can go example after example of wrestlers winning fights. And so I thought this was an easy fight to predict. And there's so many delusional fans that buy into the MMA hype machine that they thought McGregor was going to knock him out. First round knockout, the death touch. Conor has the death touch. But he has a death touch against war-torn fighters like Jose Aldo and Eddie Alvarez. has been through so many wars in their fight that they just don't got the same chins as they once used to. But when you go against a fucking animal like Khabib, who's never been knocked out, is in the prime of his career, that's a different story. But what else we got?
Man, you touch on something so good, and if you see a guy getting crazy hype, getting crazy push, look at his loss. If he's got a 0 there, make sure you take that with a grain of salt, because the UFC loves to jump on these undefeated fighters and start the fucking bandwagon. From Cynthia Calvillo to Cody Garbrandt to fucking
Brett
Francis
Johns,
Ngannou to Darren Till to Conor McGregor. It's just over and over and over again that the hype getting built. They don't actually build the hype around who deserves it. They're handpicked by the endeavor, and that's what me and fucking Kevin from Chicago have a problem with.
Yep, they get favorable matchups. Remember Brett Johns? Brett Johns was 15-0 when he got in the UFC, and then he actually fought someone good. He fought Aljamain Sterling. He got destroyed, and then he fought Pedro Munoz, another good fighter, and he got destroyed. That's what happens when you fight good fighters. I mean, you're able to look good at against these other lower class competition. Everyone thinks, oh my gosh, he's undefeated, 15-0. And then when you actually face good fighters, you get exposed, and then everyone jumps back off the bandwagon. But with Conor McGregor, they're still on that bandwagon. They're still clinging to hope. They still think he's gonna come back and knock out Tony Ferguson. And who else do they think they can beat? Thinks he's gonna come back and make another run for the title or something. They got a serious delusion with Conor McGregor.
Dude, these guys would pick Conor versus GSP right now. Like, I don't know. But someone in the chat says, in UFC, Cardadu, whatever your name is, sorry, I can't pronounce that. The media is not picking up on him cheating. And holy fuck, why the fuck is this not a talking point, Kevin? We should be talking about Khabib's dominant, Khabib's 27-0, the greatest we've ever seen. But no, we're talking about how Conor won a round. And Khabib, the brawl, it's so bad, it's so bad. What about Herb Dean not calling fucking any of these penalties? Herb Dean, the fix is in Dean, someone was saying. Well, dude, the worst one to me, not the fence grabs and all that shit. It was the blatant knee to the head when Conor had nothing to do on the ground. Kevin, what are your thoughts on the penalties?
I think Herb Dean is an overrated ref. He's made too many mistakes. He's made too many mistakes as of late. I honestly think Jason Herzog, he's probably one of the best refs. I think he's my favorite ref out there. He gets real close. He knows when to stop the fight. He doesn't stop it too soon. I think he's one of the best refs. But yeah, there's blatant cheating, grabbing the fence. He was grabbing the shorts to defend the takedown. That blatant illegal knee right to the head, side of the head, and nothing was happened. Khabib was freaking out. I was like, "Do you see this motherfucker cheating? They're not gonna take a point at least or warn him." They didn't care though. Herb Dean was just like, he's probably got paid. He was probably paid off to give it much advantage to Conor as possible. But at the end of the day, none of it made a difference.
All right, and then one more thing, and we'll kind of cut it off with this. And this just goes to a lot about what we've been talking about. Felice Herrig was quoted as she goes off on what she called a cult leader in Conor McGregor and his little minions who follow him. I agree 100%. And so, Kevin, I loved having you on. We're definitely going to have you back. If you want to come on for a co-host on a reaction, I would love that too. But I would love your thoughts, and just if you have anything to say to the little minions of their cult leader, Conor McGregor. What do you got to say to all his little minions, Kevin?
I think it's spot on. He is a cult leader. That's a good point to say. A cult leader. And the little minions, the delusional fans, kind of all the casual fans, the same people from the Ronda Rousey market. A lot of casual fans who don't know much about MMA. They just kind of They see Conor McGregor acting like a jackass, and oh, look at him walking all cool. He's got this cool strut. They're trying to live through him vicariously. They look up to McGregor so bad when he's just a piece of shit. I don't like McGregor at all. The way he carries himself, he's not humble at all. He's not he's got no honor. All he does is talk a lot of shit. And he got exposed finally. Finally, this wakes up all the casuals who dick ride him so bad, and they start calling him out for being a piece of shit that he is.
One day, I would love to see that actually happen. Guys, just be fucking critically thinkers for once. Please, please, I beg all of you. Don't just take in one side, take in all sides as well. That'll definitely help you out in your endeavors of if you're out to seek the truth.
This is Dana White's fault and the UFC's fault, just as it is Conor McGregor. They prop him up. This is what they want. They like someone who talks shit like that, and you know they get off. That's what brings in the ratings. That's all they care about is ratings and money, and they don't care how he acts. And they even use the bus footage of an assault like that, and now they're gonna get up on their high horse like, oh my goodness, Khabib. It just everything is just a joke. You can go example after example of just a joke. I mean, Colby Covington, he has to do that same blueprint. Colby Covington, he's not like that. Everyone knows he's playing this shtick. But he has to act like that. If he wants to get pushed to the title like that, he has to act like that. Because that's what the Dana White and that's what UFC wants. They want people to act like jackasses, talk a lot of shit, bring in controversy. Controversy sells. So, but Colby Covington can actually back it up. He actually has a wrestling background to back it up. He faced the Damian Maia. He faced the RDA, the striker. I mean, he faces the people. He can actually back it up. Remember what Damian Maia was doing to people? He was strangling everybody. He was strangling Carlos Condon. And then all of a sudden, when he actually faces a good wrestler, Damian Maia faces Tyron Woodley, a good wrestler, he gets stuffed. Then he faces Colby Covington, a good wrestler, he gets stuffed. Then he faces Usman, a good wrestler, and he gets stuffed. I mean, Damian Maia is able to look really good against people who don't got much wrestling background. But as soon as he faces someone that could stuff his shots, he looks really bad. And that's pretty much with Conor McGregor. As soon as he faces someone that could, that's not war-torn, has got a decent chin, that can wrestle, he gets exposed. That's how the UFC is. That's how MMA is. You got to face. It's all about matchups and styles. And you know, Dominic Reyes, another up-and-comer, he fought. This is how they build up a fighter. You got to prove their worth. His next fight, he's got to face someone like Corey Anderson or someone like that, or Alair Latifi. And if he beats him, then we'll know he's ready for the next step. That's how you build fighters, not Dana White picking and choosing who he wants to build a star. Like you said with Darren Till. Oh, I got plans for Darren Till. I got plans for Darren Till. Well, what's about plans for Kamaru Usman? What about plans for Santiago Ponzinibbio? It's all about money, and that's why I hate this. I hate boxing and MMA. I don't hate it, but I just hate how it's all about money. It's all about promotion. When you watch the World Championships in wrestling, that has nothing to do with it. It's all about you get to earn your spot. There's a World Team Trials. It's a tournament format. If you win the World Team Trials, and you're on the World Team. Then you go represent your country, and you can beat, and you face all the best wrestlers in the world, and everyone's got an equal and fair opportunity. It's not about who brings in the most money and all this other bullshit. So I guess I'll leave on that.
Man, and it's a tragedy that sports has turned that way. The media only cares and wants to push negativity, so that's what's gonna get pushed. You're a great man, a great father, a great representation of his nation, of his sport, and all that shit. And 99% of all engagements with Khabib, and they don't give a fuck, dude. So yeah, a lot of blame needs to go to the UFC and media in this as well. Some media called out the whole bus innocence in innocent, but some didn't. Some haven't called out Conor on all his crazy shenanigans. So how do you call out Khabib now? That's what I would have to say. Well, that was it for MMA Buds. We're definitely going to have Kevin from Chicago back. If you guys loved it, you got any questions or concerns, let us know in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, hit subscribe. But until next time, back to you sickos. We're out of here.
Peace out.